This is John Cola with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, I'm going to create truly raw, vegan, super healthy, chock full of polyphenols, no added sugar, no added oil, no processed cacao or chocolate products in there. The healthiest peanut butter cups ever, you know. So these are the ingredients. These are your whole food ingredients. It's very important to me and hopefully for you guys as well to use whole food ingredients. I've seen many videos online that declare raw vegan peanut butter cups. Meanwhile, they're using like a double broiler to heat up their chocolate to get it to melt. And plus, furthermore, they're using pre-made chocolate. Today, I'm not using pre-made chocolate. As you process cacao or the chocolate, the polyphenols and the health benefits of the chocolate diminish. This is proven in scientific studies. I'm not even using cocoa powder, and especially if it's processed with alkali, also loses the valuable polyphenol content, which is probably where most of the health benefits from the cacao or chocolate come from. Today, instead, I'll be using whole cacao nibs. So these are literally just the chocolate bean that have been broken up into little pieces. So it's basically whole cacao beans. You could use whole cacao beans. I found the nibs process a lot easier. In addition, for the peanut butter, because these are peanut butter cups, you know, most peanuts are roasted. And if you're using the peanut butter out of a jar, sorry guys, that has been roasted. That is no longer raw. I want to keep my food as raw as possible, minimally processed as possible. It's unfortunate that due to growing practices and contamination, most standard peanuts can be afflicted with aflatoxin, which is actually a really insidious mold substance that could really cause some major health problems. So for that reason, I don't necessarily recommend raw standard peanuts. However, I am using truly raw peanuts today, sourced from the raw food world. These are actually organic wild jungle peanuts. So these are actually heirloom peanuts, right? Most of you guys have never tasted these before. They do cost a lot more than just standard peanuts do. These are certified organic, literally grown in the wild. This supports indigenous peoples of the area that harvest the wild jungle peanuts. This is not a hybridized food. So, you know, these jungle peanuts, they're basically like heirloom peanuts here. They look really cool. I'll show you guys what they look like. That's what they look like there. They're just all different kind of colors and stuff. I leave the skins on. You could take the skins off. That's additional work. I'm not about work, extra work. Plus, all the skins add additional fiber and phytonutrients. All right, so those are the two main ingredients: whole cacao nibs, whole wild raw jungle peanuts, and then we're going to add some additional ingredients into it. Right? I don't like to use processed sugar sweeteners. Right? Whatever that may be, coconut sap, coconut syrup, you know, sugar. All these things are not healthy for you. So once again, I've went and looked up published studies on what is the healthiest sugar substitute. And the healthiest sugar substitute out there is date sugar, also known as date powder. What this is simply they take dates, they dry them down to a really low moisture content, and then they grind them up into a powder. So this is basically just date powder that's been ground up. There is still fiber in there. There is still antioxidants and other beneficial properties, unlike sugar, that is truly a refined product that contains no fiber. And if you're not using like turbinado sugar, like no antioxidants. Like, I don't recommend white sugar. So many people in their peanut butter cup recipes that I've seen online uses just white powdered sugar. And I don't want you guys to do that. And once again, this is the healthiest. And I'm like, I need to make this video because I want people that are out there that are like me, which, yes, is a very small minority of the population, to know how to make the healthiest Reese's peanut butter cups, right? I use the healthiest ingredients. I've been on my health journey now for the last 29 years. I have access to all the best equipment to process your fruits and vegetables and other plant foods in the best ways possible. As a matter of fact, I have a whole YouTube channel dedicated to it, Discount Juicers, where I'll show you guys how you guys could process your plant foods to retain more nutrition and get greater health benefit, all right? So the date sugar will sweeten not only our peanut butter, but also our chocolate. So today we're using raw jungle peanuts and are not gonna have the same flavor as roasted traditional peanuts. So I want to get something in there to kind of make it taste a little bit more smoky and a little bit more complex, because the jungle peanuts tend to taste pretty bland. So what we're gonna add is mesquite. So this is mesquite powder. Mesquite pods grow throughout the Southwest on trees that are normally used for landscaping. There's many different kinds of mesquite, but they take the pods, much like a carrot pod, and grind it down and then turn it into a powder. And then it has a really amazing flavor. I would encourage you guys to get some mesquite powder. We're gonna use a little bit of this. It has a little bit of sweetness, but also will add the kind of flavor depth and also that kind of grittiness that I want, that I remember, you know, when I used to eat Reese's peanut butter cups when I was a kid. In addition, we want additional kind of like fiber in there to give some nice mouthfeel, plus additional sweetness to hit you on a different level than just the date sugar. So what we're going to use today is inulin. So this inulin powder is a fructooleosaccharide. So we can't digest the inulin powder. It's non-digestible to us, although it tastes sweet when we eat it. That being said, our microbiome, or the beneficial bacteria in our gut, can digest the inulin and then produce short-chain fatty acids as a result, and that could be a good thing to enhance your microbiome. So we're going to add that. And then, of course, into the peanut butter, I want a little bit more depth of flavor. So we're going to add my favorite vanilla bean powder. This is actually by Tahitian Gold. This is vanilla bean powder, just a little bit. And of course, when you eat Reese's peanut butter cups, the official ones, right, they always add salt in there. And to me, salt is not a health food. Link down below to my video that I made many years ago. Salt is not a health food. I don't want you guys to be adding sodium to your food. So what I use instead, I use this stuff called fit salt. So you're thinking, John, fit salt, that's salt, man. Yes, it's salt, but look on there, it says 0% sodium. I actually have to import this from France. This is actually a potassium salt that has been shown in published studies to actually improve, you know, your blood pressure. So yeah, these are all the ingredients I'm using, why I'm using it, and I guess to transform all these ingredients into two products. So first, we're gonna make the peanut butter filling. Then second, we're gonna make the chocolate, right? And we only need one appliance to do this job, and that is right here. This is called the NutraMilk. The NutraMilk originally came out because it is a commercial appliance for coffee houses to make alternative nut milks, so that people that are vegan could now have fresh made nut milk at their favorite coffee house instead of just some non-milk substitute with all these additives, because you're buying like high-end coffee, you should also have high-end nut milk. That being said, you can buy this for your home, and right now I have it set up with the additional carafe, which you can buy for it, so you have less to clean. And this is basically a food processing carafe that has an S blade, much like a food processor, but more importantly, it has these tines that as the machine is running, it spins around, so it basically wipes down the sides to keep everything folded in, and that's how it is able to make nut butter. Because it is a commercial machine, it can literally run for 20 minutes straight, which is what we will need to do to turn literally these cacao nibs into a cacao liquid to make our chocolate, okay? That being said, when you're processing nuts, it's gonna be a lot quicker. So I think first off, we're just gonna take our raw, wild, organic jungle peanuts, and we're gonna go ahead and drop those into the NutraMilk. All right, this is about a pound. I was snacking on some of these earlier. We're gonna go ahead and then lock the lid on, close the top, and we're gonna go ahead and put this onto the butter mode. It defaults to 16 minutes. Some nuts you may need 60 minutes. I think we're probably gonna need about maybe 3 or 4 minutes, so we're just gonna crank it down to 4 minutes. Then we're just gonna hit the start button. As you guys can see, it's turning the jungle peanuts into nut butter, so we're gonna go ahead and let it run for about 4 minutes. We'll fast forward this so you guys can see the process. All right, as you guys can see, we finally have a nut butter. Now this is getting a little bit warm here. We did run a total of 4 cycles at 4 minutes each, so that's 16 minutes total to turn those raw wild jungle peanuts into a raw wild jungle peanut butter. All right. The next step is now we want to go ahead and add additional ingredients into there. And so we're gonna go ahead and measure them out for you guys. So first up, I'm gonna go ahead and use the mesquite powder. And I'm gonna probably put about like just 1/8 of a cup in there, not much at all. It's about 1/8 of a cup. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and just tap in the inulin. You don't really want to put too much of this stuff in. I'm gonna estimate about 1 tablespoon. Next up, vanilla bean powder. I'm gonna estimate maybe like 2 teaspoons. Oops. This stuff smells amazing. Then the fit salt, I'm gonna estimate like 1 teaspoon once again. Not a whole lot, we just want to get a little bit in there to get some mineral flavor. And then finally we got the date sugar here. And we're gonna probably put about 1/4 cup of the date sugar. We're gonna go ahead and put the lid back on, and we're gonna let this process maybe for another, I don't know, 30 to 60 seconds just to get everything to mix up. All right, so it just ran about a minute just to kind of fold those ingredients into the peanut butter. Now the peanut butter is no longer kind of like smooth. It's definitely more chunky, and this is actually what we want. We want some texture to it, so we could actually place them into the molds, because I don't want like a runny peanut butter. I want it to be kind of like that same texture that I remember as a kid with the Reese's peanut butter cups. So I'm gonna go ahead and empty out this mixture into this batter bowl here real quick. Wow, this stuff smells amazing. All right, so you guys can see we have our peanut butter filling all inside there. It's not too runny, it's nice and solid. So next up, we're gonna process the chocolate. We're also gonna use the NutraMilk. This is definitely gonna take a good bit of time. As I'm waiting, I'll probably prepare all the little peanut butter fillings for the molds. So we're gonna take literally like 1 whole pound of cacao nibs, dump it in the NutraMilk, put the tines back in there, put the top on, lower that down. Once again, we're gonna turn it to butter, but this time we're gonna turn it to 25 minutes. The cacao is quite hard. It does have a good percentage of oil locked inside it, but it's gonna take either like a chocolate melanger to like, or stone grinder to like grind it up, or something like the NutraMilk to like literally turn cacao nibs into a cacao liquid, which is gonna be insane. This is like a whole food product just ground up. So like, just think like we just made nut butter. We're literally making a cacao butter with the cacao. That being said, cacao butter, if you just go ahead and buy it, it's usually just the cacao fat that has been separated out during the cocoa powder making process. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this going, and we're gonna fast forward this so you guys can see the process. We'll come back at you when we're made it into a cacao liquid. So as you guys can see, the machine stopped after 25 minutes. Once again, this is a little bit warm. We're gonna go ahead and open this up, and if I want to show you guys inside here what we got after 25 minutes of processing cacao nibs. All right, look at that, guys. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's basically a liquid in there. It's insanity. It smells so strong. What we're gonna do now is, this is 100% cacao liquid that we're gonna use to make our butter. But once again, I want to firm it up a little bit. So we're going to add approximately a half a cup of, once again, the date sugar. This will allow it to be sweet, because this stuff ain't too sweet as it comes. The other thing, it'll firm it up so that it'll be a little bit easier to work with. All right, so let's go ahead and add that half a cup of date sugar in there. Try to spread it around evenly. We're going to go ahead and put our tines back in, and go ahead and turn the machine back on for about another minute or so. So our sweet cacao is done mixing in. So now we have a liquid cacao sweetened with the date sugar. Next up, we're gonna start filling our molds. But before we do, I wanna go ahead and give you guys an update on the mixture that we took out of the NutraMilk of the jungle peanut butter with all the additional powders I added in. I ended up adding in approximately another a 1/4 cup of date sugar. So we had a total of a 1/2 cup of date sugar mixed in that I just basically hand mixed. Instead of hand mixing, you could have put an extra 1/4 cup in the NutraMilk to get it to process to mix in automatically. I found that when I did that, this made it a lot more firm, so it was a lot easier to work with, because otherwise it was too sticky and it would stick to my hands and stick to my tools. So then what I did was I would take out handfuls of the mixture, and then I would basically take, I'm really clever, I took like an apple core thing that's perfectly round, and then I use that to kind of roll it into a flat shape that's maybe like, I don't know, 1/4 inch tall. So it's kind of like I'm rolling some dough. And then very carefully, very important, after I roll it, I want to lift it up so it's not stuck to the bottom. And I am working on parchment paper. I love parchment paper. This is the Silicone nonstick parchment paper, available at Sam's Club or Costco for the best price. Of course, you can buy it other places like Walmart. Then what I do is I take my apple core that's perfectly round. I go down and I'm like cutting cookies, and then I take the apple core thing to like pop in there. And if I just pop this out, as you guys can see, I got a perfectly round little disc. And so I basically been making round little discs as it was processing the chocolate. So you guys can see on the parchment paper, I have a bunch of round little discs that are ready to go into each of the little peanut butter cups. So this is going to simulate like a little layer, or the middle creamy filling, just the round discs. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and punch a few more of these, and then we're going to go ahead and pour our chocolate into the molds, and then put our discs in the mold, and then pour more chocolate in the molds. All right, so next up, let's go ahead and start pouring this chocolate out of the NutraMilk into our peanut butter cup molds. All right, check it out, guys. This stuff pours like liquid. We're just going to put a little bit in. Whoops, that's too much. Just a little bit in each mold, just to line the bottom. Oh, man, this starts running fast once you get going. Once we got some poured in the molds, then we're going to take our little discs, and we're just going to go ahead and drop our discs into place right in the middle. And then finally, once we got our discs in place, we're just going to go ahead and dribble in a little more chocolate to cover it. All right, so that's the basic premise. I'm going to go ahead and continue on to do the rest of the cups. I think instead of pouring, I think I might end up getting a kind of a measuring scoop to kind of scoop out a scoop of chocolate into each mold, and then put the peanut butter in there, and then scoop maybe another scoopful on top. I'm going to experiment to see which way is the easiest. And we're going to come back at you when we got this entire mold filled. All right, so we got one tray done. I ended up finding out that it's just easier to pour the stuff in than try to scoop it out. And I found that you need to pour a little bit in there and then put the little disc on and try to like drop the disc in so it doesn't like sink down too much. And then pour the rest of the chocolate on. Another very important step I neglected to mention was that you want to make sure you get some kind of, pan underneath your mold, because if you don't put this on something solid, you pick it up, the chocolate is just going to roll out. So we have this on a pan. We're going to totally keep this exactly level so it doesn't, roll out. And I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the freezer to set up. And we're going to come back at you, I don't know, in about a half hour, an hour when it's done setting up. And we're going to go ahead and pull out our healthiest peanut butter cups ever, made out of organic cacao and organic wild jungle peanuts. So if you want to get these molds, I got them in a 3-pack from Amazon. I'll put a link down below to my Amazon shop where you guys could get these. I got a lot more chocolate and a lot more peanut butter, so I'm going to go ahead and make 60 more of these little peanut butter cups while I'm waiting for this first round to set up in the freezer. All right, so the peanut butter cups have been in the freezer for about a half hour, and now they're totally solid inside here. So we're going to go ahead and pull one out to show you guys what they look like. Look at that, guys. This is absolutely insane. They look like little peanut butter cups that I would have bought as a kid, like the little mini ones, right? They melt quick, right? because this is 100% cacao with its own fat, no additional added fat. So I'm going to go ahead and try one of these for the first time ever, because I make recipes up in my head. I have all the equipment, I have all the ingredients to do it, and I thought I'd bring you guys along for the journey. So if you guys want to make the healthiest peanut butter cups, you guys now know how. Let's go ahead and bite into this baby. Look at that, guys. Peanut butter cup. I'm going to definitely tell you this is good. And here's the thing. This is not going to hit you with the sugar, because we put about a total of 1 cup of date powder in here total amongst all these. So this does not have high sugar content. However, this is designed for its health benefit. We have kept the majority of the flavonoids in the cacao, and of course the peanut butter in the middle is completely amazing. Look at that. This is delicious. If I had to do any one thing, I might add a tad bit more date sugar to the cacao butter after it's made. Although if you add too much, then it won't be pourable anymore. And it melts in your hands and in your mouth. Peanut butter stuck to the top of my mouth. All right, so to store these, you don't want to store these like on the countertop. They will melt for sure. So I'm going to show you guys the best way to store them, because here's the thing, guys. Although I made this recipe today, it's not like I sit there and eat all 30 of these in one sitting. I might eat like 1 or 2 a day, if that. Some days I won't eat any, right? Normally I like to eat my chocolate early in the morning so that it does not affect my sleep. I find if I eat the chocolate like afternoon or 1, then it will affect my sleep and I will not sleep quite as well. I think this should be used as a treat. Of course, if you have a son, daughter, family member still eating Reese's peanut butter cups like every single day, yes, I would absolutely say this is a much healthier alternative for them to eat every single day, because it's going to be power packed with polyphenols, no processed sugar, no added oils, no preservatives like BHT, and of course, we got the healthy salt, which actually contains no sodium as well. Plus, we got the inulin to feed your microbiome. We got the vanilla flavor. These things are off the hook for a healthy version of the peanut butter cup. Anyways, to store these guys, because I am not eating them every single day, we do want to store them in the fridge. So how I recommend you store them is you're just going to go ahead and pop them out. And maybe even we'll just put all these in here and pop them out inside the bag, so I don't have to touch them, because when I touch them, they're going to start to melt. All right, as you guys can see, we got a bag of peanut butter cups right there. And then what I do, these are actually a vacuum seal bag, so we want to suck out the excess oxygen during storage so that you will not oxidize your chocolate. And you'll retain the most nutrition. So we're just going to go ahead and use a vacuum seal bag. You could also store these in a vacuum seal jar. But we're just going to go ahead and pump out the excess oxygen out of the bags. If you guys want to get my recommended vacuum pumps for storage, link down below to my Amazon shop, where I have recommendations for the bags as well as the pumps that I recommend. Alright, so we got a professional vacuum seal on that, guys. We're just going to go ahead and put this in my cold fridge. I have 3 fridges at different temperatures. This will go into my fridge that is between 33 degrees and 35 degrees, the same fridge I keep my juices to keep these oxygen free, and I'll open it up every few days and have 1 or 2 as a nice treat to remind me of when I was a kid. I guarantee you guys these are the healthiest raw vegan peanut butter cups you can make. The only way I can make this healthier is once I get a vacuum food processor that sucks the excess oxygen out before we process the cacao and peanuts into their respective butters. All right, so that's pretty much it for this episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, learning about my healthy version of a peanut butter cup, the healthiest that you could find, that's going to have the most polyphenols, beneficial vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, as well as no aflatoxin, because we are using literally heirloom wild organic jungle peanuts. I'll put links down below to my sources if you guys want to get any of these different products that I've used today to make the most delicious raw vegan peanut butter cups ever. If you guys enjoyed this episode learning how I make the raw vegan peanut butter cups and how you can make it too, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, more importantly, share this with other people that eat a plant-based vegan or even raw vegan diet so that they could make the healthiest peanut butter cups. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new and upcoming episodes. I'll be coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know what new recipe demo I'll be doing or what new knowledge bombs I'll be dropping on you so you could eat healthier on a plant-based, nutrient-dense, fruit and vegetable-dominated diet. Make sure you click the little bell to get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 800 episodes at this time on the channel dedicated to teach you guys all about how to eat more healthy, nutrient-dense plant foods. I'll also put links down below in the description to some other videos I've made making chocolate in the NutraMilk. I've made many different things, including chocolate bars and so many other cool things in the NutraMilk, so check those videos out as well. And of course, if you guys want to buy the NutraMilk, link down below to my website, Discount Juicers, where I sell the NutraMilk machine. I only recommend you guys buy it with the additional food processor attachment. It's a much better value than buying it without. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.